Language reveals more than we think. We were supposed to be raised on telepathy. We still have telepathic powers, and this in part is the reason for intuition and feeling other people's energies. Language has been an attempt to cut off this connection. Every word we say is a magic spell. So spelling, spell casting, has been specifically used to denigrate our divine selves. We are born into this world. Born comes from the English word barren. Today's definition of barren is unfruitful, bleak, and lifeless. Our children, as designated by our language, aren't even ours. Parents are a pair who rents. Our governments, especially our courts, don't treat a parent's right to control and direct the upbringing of their child as a fundamental liberty. We're forced from a young age through many types of indoctrination, and our parents are helping in this process. Look at the word childhood. A hood is used to cloak and hide. The etymology of children is chill and dren. Chill means cold. Dren is a name meaning a strong and healthy individual. So children are strong individuals who must be chilled, made cold. Stay with me, this will all come together. In Ballantyne's 1948 Law Dictionary, the term human being says sea monster. When we see monster, we get the definition, a human being by birth, but in some part resembling a lower animal. In the Oxford New English Dictionary of 1901, a human is defined as belonging or relative to man, as distinguished from God or superhuman beings. So these definitions are telling us we're monsters and have no inherent divine qualities. The word live backwards is evil. Our language is telling us we're born as monsters who are bleak and lifeless to a pair who rents us out to the government and other corporations that indoctrinate us. Our childhood is spent under a cloak, so our divinity will be hidden from us, and we're evil when we live. Our sentences are made up of words. The word sisters in Greek mythology were fates or witches who controlled the fates of man. Every word we say directly affects our reality and ultimately our fate. The Egyptian deity Thoth is said to have invented language and writing. The original purpose was to use words for magic. The words write and write are pronounced the same. A rite is a ceremony or ritual. Whenever we're writing with words or speak, we're initiating a ritual. Books contain chapters. A chapter often refers to a sect of a secret society or religious order. To page someone is to summon them. Pages in books made of words are summoning things to enslave or imprison our souls. The word grammar comes from the French word grammaire or grimoire. Grimoires were ancient magic books which contained instructions to summon demons. I want to mention sounds affect everything around us. The study of cymatics is the study of sound vibration on matter, and it has been demonstrated that vibrations and frequencies create geometric patterns in sand and other mediums. We wake up each morning. A wake is a funeral party held for the dead. At the beginning of each day, we say to each other, "Good morning." Mourning is what you do when you're sad for the loss of someone or something. We begin each day reveling in the mourning of our divine nature, which has been stripped from us, by calling it a good morning. It's pretty masochistic if you ask me. We then go to work at our occupation. When we occupy something, it can mean being occupied by a military force, like in war. Many occupations are focused on money and the dog-eat-dog mentality. The dollar bill comes first before the environment or even each other. Therefore, we are committing war against each other and Mother Earth during each day we work our occupation. We are the military occupiers. An urn is for the ashes of the dead. For the average 9-to-5 worker, it would have to be one of the weekdays in order to earn a living. I agree, you would have to be in a weekdays to earn a living. During the week, we become weaker and weaker until finally it's the weekend, and we have become weakened. Somebody or something who is weakened has no power. And during the weekend, many of us turn to drink alcohol. Alcohol comes from the Arabic word al-kul, which is a body-eating spirit. It's also the source of the word ghoul. We drink booze or booze. Booze are synonymous with spirits who scare you, but what can you expect when you're drinking spirits? Alcohol has always been a medium for entities to flow through, and the effects in part demonstrate this. In Sigmund Freud's model of the psyche, he outlined 3 parts of the self: the ego, the superego, and the id. The id is the realm of our deep-seated fears. The id is considered a sort of third person hiding outside the conscious and superconscious mind. We use the similar word it as a sort of third person in our use of speech. We unknowingly give power to our deep-seated fears and help create it every day with our thoughts and speech. In horror movies, we hear the phrases, "It's alive," "It lives," "It came from the sea," and "It came from outer space." Of course, we remember the movie It. The it, or id, once again is our deep-seated fears, and by saying this word in our everyday sentences, we're evoking these. We all know the phrase, "When it rains, it pours." Satan, the ram or goat god, has also been known as Pan the Piper. A goat is a channel or pipe for water to flow through and comes from the Old English word gotan, which means to pour. So when it rains, it pours. The word it consists of an I and a T, which is a cross. To cross someone is to go against them or insult them. I cross. I'll also mention that we live on an enclosed flat plane. Planet is simply plane with a cross at the end. It's also a plan-net. The plan with the lie of outer space and the many other lies used to trap us in a net of lies. When we graduate, we receive a diploma. Diploma comes from the word deplume, meaning to deprive of feathers. We receive our degree. A degree is a line bent to angle. When we accept a degree, we are admitting that we are bent and confused. Education, as we should all know by now, destroys knowledge, just like how the medical establishment destroys health and the government destroys freedom. All day we say to people, "Bless you," and "I'm feeling blessed." When we bless somebody, we're really telling them to be less. We should know when we pray to an external entity like God, we are actively telling the universe that we don't recognize our own creative abilities of manifestation. When we pray, we are really becoming prey. Somebody becomes prey when they are vulnerable. When we are praying, we are making ourselves vulnerable to other entities that don't always have our best intent. We have all the power within us, and we need to get off our knees. Our flat plane has been squared. This is in part what squaring the circle represents. The divine feminine, the circle, has been squared by masculine principles. Thoth, as I mentioned earlier, is the Egyptian creator of spelling. Thoth's name reveals a circle inside of a square. Thoth is made of squares in the form of the T-square and the H-square. The O is in the middle. Food for thought. Words act as electromagnetic vibrations, and it pulls us into confines by defining things in a reality made of free-flowing sine waves. It's just like the Saturn-Moon matrix projecting square waves on us. You could say we're helping in squaring our reality with these limiting sounds we utter from our mouth. And what's been given to us has been perfectly crafted, so we revel in language full of masochism and hatred for our divine selves. It's best we start learning to speak with a more conscious language. Everything we say is directly affecting this projection we're all in. We can use our intention and words to create amazing realities. One day we'll go back to our full telepathic nature, but for now, let's make the best of these spells. There's a lot more to discuss as far as words go, and I'll be making more videos about it in the future. I'll leave you with the opening sentence of the Gospel of John. In the beginning was the Word. Have a great one, guys.